Welcome back to the show. One of my favorite, your favorite guests, and I always know he does a great job because everyone in the studio audience here is mesmerized when he talks. Yes. Rajan Joshi joins me, the best criminal defense guy in town for sure. Been a minute, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
It's so nice being back.
You're doing such a great job out there representing people who have been charged with a crime. When I think about choosing the right attorney, it is so important in criminal defense because with me, I'm helping people with real estate or this or that. That's important for sure. We're talking about taking away your freedom. How important is choosing an attorney in criminal defense?
It's the most important thing. You know, the attorney you choose makes all the difference in your case. You know, I have a team of attorneys at my law firm, and you know, we try to fight the best we can for every client, and you know, tear down the case, tear down the state's theory of the case, attack the police officer's investigation, and you know, get the best result. And we've been fortunate.
I think there are some criminal defense attorneys out there who are going to take whatever deal is offered by the state without really having to do much. What are the dangers in just taking whatever deal is offered?
Oh, I mean, the hugest danger is, you know, you can plead to something you're not guilty of, or you can plead to something that they can't even prove. Mm-hmm. What we do is, at my firm, we are the check on the police. We are the check on the government. We are going to hold them to the burden that they are required to by the Constitution. If they can't do that, they're not getting our client. They got to get through us to get to our clients, and we're going to fight.
So how do you feel about cops?
I actually like police officers, to be honest with you. I know your input on it. I like police officers. You know, I battle them every day in court, and you know, I think a lot of times my job is to educate the police, because when they lose a case to me, it keeps everyone safe, because they're not going to search your car if their last search of someone who they found drugs on, the drugs were thrown out of court. They're going to think twice about messing with innocent people. So we are the check on the police, but I respect the job they do. I mean, they have a very dangerous and, you know, huge responsibility.
Yeah, you think about you and I, we went to college for 7 years to do this, 3 years of law school, 4 years in undergrad. And now we've both been practicing more than 20 years. It's taken us a long time, and we're continuing to learn the law. You see some of these police officers who have been in a year, 2 years, 3 years, they just simply can't know everything yet. They're not necessarily even to blame sometimes.
They're not, but you know, the law is the law. Yeah. And you know, people are affected. You know, I see police officers make bad decisions every single day. Sometimes in good faith, sometimes in bad faith. And you know, the thing I take pride in my job is, you know, I keep that check on them. If the police officers step out of line intentionally or unintentionally, I'm going to catch them.
Yeah. All right. So the old Shakespeare quote, right, is to blow or not to blow? That is the question.
Is that what it was?
Oh, maybe that wasn't Shakespeare. Maybe that was me. But it's true, right? And people who are out on the streets, they get pulled over. Sometimes they'll say, the officer will make you blow or do some field sobriety. What do I do in that situation? I know there's no probably great answer or right answer, but what are your thoughts?
Well, you know, the one thing is when I was a prosecutor 25 years ago, the hardest cases for me to prosecute were the ones where the person didn't do those field sobriety exercises, which I would say never do those. Yeah. Do not do those field sobriety exercises. And the individual did not talk to the police, did not admit they were drinking, you know, 6 beers and out all night, and they didn't blow. Because then all you got is the officer's observation. So you may have a videotape and the person may not look as bad. But when they're talking, when the individual's talking and they're giving the you know, recitation of what they did that whole night, and they're doing these field sobriety exercises, which most people can't do well sober.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do the whole alphabet thing, like the front one. Wow, see, can't even
what
say
is
it.
2 plus 2?
The straight way, the backward way. Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I would fail right now.
But if you refuse to blow, there are consequences. You lose your license. It also can be used against you in court if it's your first time DUI. You know, you are entitled to a hardship. But if you blow and you blow over a .08, you still lose your license. They don't tell you that. So if it's a first time DUI and you've never refused before, I would say. I would personally, I don't drink, but if I did, I would not blow if I felt impaired. If you've ever refused before, the second time is a crime itself.
Wow. I think the most confusing part is a lot of people, again, don't drink and drive is number one, right?
Yeah.
Do not drink and drive. We're not telling you to do that, but many times couples go out for dinner on a Friday night and maybe have a glass of wine with dinner with their steak, maybe 2 glasses of wine. and drive home where likely they're not even at .08. And that becomes a really difficult decision at that point. Okay, do I blow? Do I do field sobriety or not? I'll probably pass, but if you don't, if it's .09, you're almost toast at that point.
That is true. And, you know, one thing, every time I try a DUI case, and I've tried a lot, the one thing I educate the jury on, and I make the police officer say it when he's on the stand, is it is legal to drink and drive. It is not illegal. It is not a crime to drink and drive. It is a crime to drive while you're under the influence of alcohol, to the extent your normal faculties are impaired, or you're over a .08. So if you're having, in your scenario, you know, they're probably not over the legal limit, but you've got to be cautious. I would not do the field sobriety exercises no matter what,
Yeah.
you know.
I agree with you. Now here's...
So wait, hang on, time out. So let's say I have 2 glasses of wine, right? And then I was driving. And I blew under. Are they going to be like, oh, like you're fine? Like what if I was at like .7 or .07?
What the state may argue was that, you know, at the time you were driving, you were over a .08, and that your body was metabolizing the alcohol, so an hour later you're at a .07. And I give the counter arguments, and sometimes I get experts to look into the case where somebody may blow a .10, and my argument may be, well, at the time they were driving, at the time they crashed their car, you know, the alcohol hadn't gotten to a point of .08.
Oh, wow.
So you almost can't win. They're like,
No,
oh,
it's not-
yeah, you pass, but you don't pass.
Yeah, and a lot of times in those situations, you can get the state. I mean, if you got an aggressive enough attorney, you can possibly get the case dropped or reduced down to a reckless driving. It just depends on the circumstances.
Yeah. If you call my office right now and you say, oh, I'm having some criminal issues, you know what happens? Literally, the people at the front desk call his office and refer you directly to him. I don't get anything out of it. It's because the trust factor I have with Rajan and his firm. Literally, try it right now if you want. Call my office and say you have a criminal issue. I guarantee you they're going to say, okay, call Rajan Joshi. And that's because you do such a wonderful job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Likewise, so does your firm.
Well, we
you know,
appreciate
you guys
that,
do an incredible job with everything you do. And
So another case happened this week. I won't say names or anything because they'll probably end up calling you. Anyway, the search of the vehicle, okay? When can the police actually search my car?
there's many different factors when they can search it without a search warrant. You know, if they have probable cause to believe that there's any criminal evidence inside. Like a lot of times, the police will believe that they smell marijuana, and they'll go search the car. And we've actually attacked those searches now because hemp is legal, and they can't distinguish the difference between the odor of hemp or marijuana. And we've gotten major drugs thrown out that were found based on that search. They may call the canine to sniff the car, and it may alert. What we're going to do then is we're going to attack the canine. We're going to attack the training records of the canine. We're going to attack whether or not the canine was trained to smell marijuana. If they were, marijuana could be legal, you know. So they may smell something that's legal within the car if the person has a medical marijuana card. So, you know, but there's a lot of scenarios where they can search it without a warrant. If the police are searching it, step back, don't get in their way. Don't pick up a resisting charge, and then call the best attorney you can, and they'll attack the search.
We love dogs.
Yeah. No, I love dogs.
But you can't convince me ever that dogs are going to be perfect on this. Oh, dog set next to the car means there's drugs in there. The dogs can't be perfect.
No, they can't. And what I do is I subpoena all the training records of the dogs, all the times that they were out, all the police reports of them. And every time that dog made a mistake, you know, I'm going to count that against the dog, and I'm going to try and make that dog look like it's unreliable, and attack the dog. And I've done it many times. And, you know, you just got to attack. You got to keep attacking everything the state puts out there. You know, you can't just sit back and say, oh, you got my client because the dog sniffed.
When you get charged with a crime, or someone in your family's charged with a crime, again, it's the most important decision you can make is what lawyer you are going to hire. And Rajan, a lot of times there's a free lawyer out there, almost free. It's the public defender. And some people are going to go with the public defender. I know you have a lot of respect for the public defenders, but that process is a little bit different. What do you tell someone who can at some point afford a private attorney? What's the difference?
Well, the difference with our law firm is, you got a team of attorneys. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've got an attorney who's been doing it for 20 years, used to run the state attorney's office as the chief assistant. We've got hundreds of jury trials underneath our belt. We work as a team. We want to win. We like to win. That's the thing. I can say there are attorneys out there who will take the case and it's like a conveyor belt. They will try and plead out, make room for the next case. We don't take on every case that calls. We're selective because we want to give the clients we got the best representation that we can give them.
That's awesome.
No, it's huge. It's so important
thank
too.
you.
But the public defender's office, they have a lot of cases, right?
They do have a lot of cases. I respect them. They work hard, but they can be overworked, and sometimes they may not have the time to put into their cases. Now, I've hired people from the public defender's office. I look for the most aggressive people, and I recruit them. And you can't choose your attorney. You get what you get stuck with. So you can only just hope for the best at that point.
Rajan Joshi, the law firm,
Thank
the
you.
man, the best of the best. Always. You got to come back more. It's been way too long.
I'm learning something like
I feel like we
super
barely scratched
valuable.
the surface.
No, I know.
It's always a pleasure. I love coming on here. And
Any questions about your criminal issues whatsoever, 321-282-1055. I'll connect you with Rajan immediately. Here's what we will do, a very quick break. You're thinking about starting a business, are you? What are some steps that you need to take to ensure the success of your business? As Behind the Law continues.